Hello from the future. Hello from the future. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jarrell. What is potentially the future? So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about AI, specifically as it pertains to art, because that is my field. So I have a lot to say about this topic. I'll try to keep it short and brief. Really just talking about it as it pertains to artists. I know there's a lot of other implications of AI in many industries and robots in general. But as an artist, a storyteller, writer, and even a fan of like sci-fi books and movies and all of that. So without any further ado, rolling into this. So growing up on stories like Terminator, iRobot, AI, artificial intelligence, and The Matrix, I already was more than apprehensive about just the notion of AI in general and all of the many doomsday prophecies and end of the world scenarios that we've been hearing about through these films for years. So definitely already through the lens of that, very apprehensive about the introduction of actual AI into our lives. But as an artist specifically, definitely I've been cautious of machine learning and how the integration of it into our industry of artists and creatives, films, and all of these different things, how it affects the art world, how it affects artists, the potential of it putting artists out of work. So all that being said, I've been reading up on AI, taking into account a lot of what people who specialize in researching this and a lot of what artists were talking about, a lot of what developers of AI have been saying, and even like legal agencies about how it affects law and potential issues of how that would affect artist rights as well as anyone who's producing content or things like that. So I was basically looking into all of what all these people's and all these different groups were saying about it. So while there are many forms of AI that I am actively avoiding and am currently against in the current iteration of it, I am kind of less concerned about it making human artists obsolete, because I remember back to how of when the camera was first introduced and how like portrait artists and painters back then were kind of in the early 1800s fearful of what that was going to mean for artists, if it was going to put a lot of artists and painters out of work. What was interesting was that yes, some lost their jobs, but it seemed to be the ones who were mostly trained in realism and depicting like painting landscapes or portraits that were very like realistic, what we would call photorealistic now. So it affected those artists specifically, but it didn't instantly replace them because there was a lot of work for photography to come to where it is currently. But the interesting thing I think that happened at the time was from that invention, it caused a lot of artists to adapt, and to like out of it came a lot of abstract art and artists learning how to create in new creative ways. That was something that the camera obviously was not going to implement or recreate. It couldn't do that. It couldn't be creative. It was just showing you life and images as it perceived it. So similarly with the introduction of computers and with 3D animation, probably like early 90s or maybe late 80s, the fear was that traditional 2D animation would be completely replaced. And although it did put a lot of many skilled artists out of work at the time, it didn't do away with the medium as a whole. So many of the animators in that time learned new skills, and they learned how to incorporate 3D into their animation toolbox. So a lot of the early animation, 3D animation, computer generated stuff was worked into films, like Lion King had it, and the wildebeest stampeding scene, and a lot of things like that. So artists were learning to again adapt to using this new tool, which was the computer, to their toolbox of other things that they were already using. A lot of artists went over into CGI, went into 3D animation. Many, even still today, continue to bravely endeavor traditional cell 2D animation features and shorts and all these different things that they're still doing today. Similarly with like stop motion didn't go away altogether. It's more a niche, I guess, and not as many studios still do stop motion, but the ones who do it really well, and they employ many talented and skilled artists in that field and in that medium. So that being said, I felt a strong urging recently from the Lord to explore what AI could mean for the future, but specifically for my future as an artist and a lot of the stories and books and animations that I have coming up. I use it more as a tool, really, just as one aspect of how I can move and work more efficiently to create my stories, books and films, and so on. It has so far had some marginal benefits. I feel like what I noticed with AI for me, it was more of a limiting things that I could automate, things that were tedious tasks, like cutting out and marking different artwork, different characters, cutting out the backgrounds or swapping out backgrounds behind my characters, or if I was using reference images and using a lot of like stock photos or stock images from like Adobe Stock to create the world that I was building. For me, just being a one artist who from world building at like previs and pre-production stuff to the actual artwork in the books and different things like that, the early stages can be really tedious. So a lot of the background replacing, removing like text on different images or moving things around, stuff that would take me hours, but it's kind of like mindless work. I could automate that. I could use AI to do those things. And it was saving me a lot of time, but it wasn't doing things that were specifically creative to me, or things that even I might shop out to other artists that I went to school with or interns that I've had to do stuff that they could do, because a lot of my artwork is specific to me and only stuff that I can do. So it wasn't taking the place of anyone who I would usually hire on to help out with a project, or friends of mine who are artists that I would employ for certain work. This was doing things that I would have to do myself for a project, but it saved me time because I can focus on the other parts of the art, if that makes sense. So all the tedious stuff that I had to do in the past, now I can kind of delegate that to automated computer work. Now that I have this new project that I'm really excited about for Revelations, is basically trailers for my characters, some of my characters from the Revelations graphic novel book that I've been doing for a few decades. So now I'm working on a little bit of kind of like music video trailers, about 90 seconds or less, of certain key characters. It tells a little bit of their story. It's all cut to music and showing it through like really striking visuals and scenes from the book and things that kind of give you another take on these characters. So I'm really excited about this new trailer project. But when the idea came, it was kind of like, how am I going to do this? Because it would probably take me months to put this together because there's a lot of tedious work in it. Realizing that, I kind of at the same time was exploring and researching AI and talking to my wife about it and what's like some of the ethics behind it and what I really felt about it. And then those things kind of were happening at the same time. I felt a strong urge to explore AI for this project specifically. So in this process, I explored many different AI programs just to figure out which ones kind of work best for my needs. Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, there was a lot of them, Pixelverse, I think. And so playing around with a lot of different things, a lot of different programs, a lot of different tools, and seeing what worked for me. Thankfully, actually, none of the AI programs was really good at emulating or trying to mimic my personal art style at all. Nothing that I use could do characters like I do. I mean, I've taken decades to develop a specific style that I do illustrate in. Over time, it's even evolved, so it's kind of always growing depending on where I am creatively and as an artist. So no AI program was able to kind of replicate the kind of art that I do and do it well. So that was kind of a good thing that I found with this. So that led me to kind of almost pivot a little bit to use this AI tool to make realistic renderings of my illustrated characters from my book as real people, kind of like a trailer, as if it was kind of hyper realistic or a live action kind of look or approach to the movie, to the book, as trailers using some AI features. There were a lot of mishaps in AI trying to figure out what prompts I was giving it and working with, whether it was photo reference that I kind of pulled and have been building a catalog of reference over time for Revelation stuff, or my specific artwork and illustrations. There were a lot of things it didn't understand. It doesn't do hands well, as a lot of people know. Some organic things, it doesn't do integrating people with like fire or like water sometimes. A lot of prompts were, because Revelations is very dark and it's like about a war, an end times, like the end, and a lot of World War stuff going on. So a lot of prompts don't allow certain things with guns and certain imagery. So it was limited on that too, which is actually a good thing. I don't want to see a bunch of gory AI stuff come through. So this has kind of been an interesting journey with this. I've already completed the first trailer. The next trailer I'll be doing sometime soon, but I wanted to get this out to see what you guys think about it. This trailer is kind of a mix between AI art versions of my characters as more realistic characters or people, actual artwork and spreads from the book. Like you'll see pages of my drawings, you'll see pages of like newspaper clippings and different artifacts from the actual book, and then like reference images and things that I've pulled over time that are basically settings for different scenes and backdrops that happen in the actual storyline and in the book. So you'll see a little bit of all that. I try to keep these pretty short, somewhere between 1 minute to 90 seconds, so they're pretty quick trailers, kind of like a music video. So I'm releasing the trailer tomorrow, so 24 hours from now, this video going up, you'll be able to see the trailer, and I would love to hear what you guys think about it. When it drops, leave your comments down there in the section. Talk about the trailer, let me know what you think. If you like kind of the look of it, if you think that you prefer some of my old like animations that I've done for Revelations, I'm very curious about what they think about it and how they kind of receive it. Also, on this video, go ahead, feel free to leave a comment below, because I would love to hear what you guys think about AI in general, basically what your thoughts are on AI art and the future of art itself in this new world. Is AI the future of art? Is AI the end of art? Like, what do you guys personally think about it? I have my own opinions, like I kind of left them in here. Some things I definitely don't want AI to be used for, or to learn from other artists and artists in general to do, but some things are actually kind of helpful for artists and creatives who are doing it. So those are just some thoughts. I have other thoughts about it as well. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys definitely check out the trailer tomorrow and share it, like, comment, all those things. That helps it to get around the dreaded algorithm that requires such things. So I hope you guys watch it, check it out, and share it around. All right.